That's right, baby. We are back. Back on a Saturday. I'm trying to fix my hair, you guys. Ugh. First of all, thank you to everybody who's hopping in to check us out for Saturday Day Live. First things first, I apologize for being even later than usual. Two things conspired against me. One, my number one man, Chase, my son, just graduated the 8th grade. And so he had a graduation party today that he was invited to. So he went, and it was kind of a cool thing because many of you have met Chase, and Chase is a really cool dude. Not the most social kid in the world. But I was super happy when I rolled up to pick him up, and I texted him and was like, yo, I'm here. So whenever you're ready, you're good. And he didn't want to leave. He was having such a good time. He didn't want to leave. So I loved that. Number one. Number two, my daughter, see, everything revolves around the kids here. You'll see. This is Saturday Day Children. My daughter's in New York City this week for a dance intensive program at the School of American Ballet. We're very excited. She got into it. It's a very cool thing. Very prestigious thing. She's working really hard. But because it goes all week, my daughter's just 11, by the way. Last weekend, she got a wish granted that she's been bugging me about for over a year now, and that was to get a cell phone. We did not plan on getting her a cell phone until she was, I think, 13 or 14 was the initial rule. But because she was going to be doing this thing in the city and all this different stuff, we're like, you know what, let's get her a phone. That way we can reach her if we need to. She can reach us if she needs us. So she got a phone. The whole week's been great. Today's the last day. And she lost the phone. She lost the phone. But luckily it's an iPhone. So I was just on the computer doing the Find My iPhone thing. And I have a general idea of where the phone is. So Victoria is there right now, hopefully locating the phone. But that's it. That's why I'm a few minutes even later than the 4 o'clock time frame we had set. But all is well. All is well. And now, almost 4 minutes into the show. What's up, Eric? What's up, Ryan? What's going on, man?
Chilling, baby. Chilling. glad to be back finally. Glad to be back together, man. To see you guys here, man. It's freaking cool.
Yeah. So what's been going on in your lives? So what's the we're right now, 4th of July is next weekend. So we're deep into summer. Ryan, I know you've been working your ass off, man. What's been going on so far since last we spoke?
Just trying not to die of a heat stroke earlier this week because the heat was offensive. Like you said, just working my ass off. I dropped a little bit of weight too, down 55 pounds. So
hey, hell yeah, boy! Look at you go.
That's not a little bit of weight.
Yeah,
that's
bro.
Fantastic, man.
A lot of weight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been every time I see you, like you look like you're even in better shape and better shape and better shape. That's inspiring stuff, man.
Hell yeah, bro.
Trying to take care of myself, be around as long as possible.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'm headed down one of those journeys myself right now. So hopefully the plan is to hopefully, I don't know if I can do as well as you have, man. That's some pretty cool shit. You should be commended for that.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Well,
big ups, bro.
So far, I'm a little bit, probably not as nearly as far as long as you, because one of my steps is still drinking beer, but now it's no carb beer. So that's lying to myself that I'm doing something there. What do you think?
Every little bit helps, bro.
Absolutely.
What about you, Late Night? What's been going on in your life these last few weeks?
I've just been chilling, man. I'd been trying to catch up on a bunch of stuff that I like, kind of like, you know, you find all this stuff. It's like collecting, like all the figures you collect and things that you get yourself into. And sometimes it becomes 1 to 10 to 100 things. And then the next thing you know, you have a pile of stuff that you've never really enjoyed. You know what I mean? So I've been taking some time to kind of, you know, just relax and enjoy some of those things that I've been kind of putting off for a while. I got back into I've collected like a lot of different like compendiums or series of comic books that I've you know, I read when I was a kid, but always wanted to go back and like reread. So going through a lot of like compendium series, like currently I'm going through I have like 4 volumes of like the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that I've
Nice.
been reading all through. So I'm
Nice.
already through like I think like book 4 of that series. I have a huge Spawn compendium that I'm reading through again, and that's like that compiles like the first like 50 issues of the comic that McFarlane did back in the day. So I'm rereading all those. I got back into like a lot of the old samurai like anime series that I used to enjoy. So I've been like reacquiring some of those old videos and rewatching a lot of that stuff. Just stuff like that just, just like I said, stuff that I wanted to like kind of go back and start enjoying again. And, it's kind of been there the whole time. But like I said, sometimes it's hard to like make that extra time because you get so involved in something else like toy collecting or whatnot. So been doing a lot less collecting as far as like purchasing, figures and stuff like that, which is, I think it's been pretty beneficial for myself because as like I said, sometimes you do it for so long, you just really get burnt out on a lot of stuff. So,
Mhm.
To find something different, like a different avenue to go down for a while to like kind of reinvigorate your, your imagination, your spirit into something else, I mean, that's just, like I said, that's what I've been doing.
That's cool, man.
Fuck yeah.
Like I always tell myself that like there's so many things that I want to read, not just comics, but comics, books, all that kind of stuff. But I've been trying to even just do something as simple as like, getting into comics a little bit more. Like, the last couple of times I've been at shows, I'll grab like a couple of comics and like Victoria will make fun of me. She'll be like, she's like, dude, are you gonna actually read those? Like, or do you just buy them to keep? So I'm like, you know what? So I took like a little stack of the comics I just brought them up to the bedroom and put them on my night table right there, right next to me so I could start reading them. So
yeah. It's
Yeah.
tough, man. It's tough. I mean, as many years as I did the comic thing, I started realizing that like, and still to today, there's still diehards that do it. But I did it for so many years where every Wednesday I was in that comic book shop picking up the new releases, the new drops that week. And, you do that every week for, 10 years and you buy and you pick up, 5 to 10 new books every time you go in there. At one point or another, you turn around and you've literally got stacks of 100 comics that you haven't read yet. You know what I mean? And you're just like, okay, I'm totally lost now. Like, I don't even know where to start anymore. So that's why a lot of, after I did it for so many years, I got completely out of the comic book, like the weekly buying comic book stuff. And then I turned to more of like the compendium series and stuff like that. So I just could like, if I wanted to, I could just read the whole thing in one shot and I wouldn't have to like go backtrack maybe an issue that I missed 5 weeks prior or 3 months prior. You know what I mean? Where it's just too hard to do, man. It's just something I just couldn't keep up with.
Sometimes it reads better in like trade paperback or the compendium forms.
Yeah. That's what I found. I just like to have the complete story in one shot rather than, like I said, going issue after issue after issue after issue. And I just started finding a lot of the comic books that I was reading, a lot of them were, jumping, like multiversing and stuff like that, which I never understood. And I just couldn't, like I said, it was just too hard to keep up with everything. And it was just like, I'll just go back to the old classic shit, man. Like, just give me the old classic stuff that I grew up as, from my age group that I grew up with and read and, just like to, enjoy. And I'll go back and reread that stuff,
Brian Brink says, I transitioned from stacks of unread comics to stacks of unopened figures. Haha.
That happens too, man. That totally happens too.
Yep.
It's just, it becomes one of those things where like at some point, like I said, you have to realize like how much you really, take in as far as like what you go out there and purchase. And sometimes you, like I said, you turn around and you have to give yourself a gut check and say, man, like I really need to like stop and enjoy what's right in front of me and not keep searching for that, that you know, that little hit of, you know, endorphins of like, oh, I got something new, I got something new, I got something new, you know.
Yeah.
Just you know, just enjoy what's there, man.
It's a little totally, man. Yeah, totally.
Yep.
As he holds the toy he just bought.
From
But on the compendiums are cool because like you can pick up, especially for like old, even if what you want to do is read some older comics,
Mm-hmm.
you can pick up if you missed, you know, or if you never read it and you want to get back into it. And I do have a couple of like G.I. Joe has a ton of them, right?
Mhm.
And like not just like issue whatever to whatever, but then they'll have like themed ones. Like I have one that is like basically centered on like Cobra Commanders,
Mhm.
like most famous stories or whatever. But I really think like what I found is that I really love buying the old comics. Like number one, it's easy. They're very cheap. You know, every toy show has a few comic tables, and the old comics are usually, a lot of them are pretty cheap. And I just love like the feel. I love the smell of the old pages. I
Mhm.
love seeing like the ads in the old comics for like either other comics or like whatever, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like all different kinds of stuff. And I just, I don't know, I just love it. Like what I'll do is I was going through like, you know, you'll find a table that's selling comics and they'll be like 10 for $20 or like
Right.
you get a bunch for like pretty cheap. And I'll look for something that I'm interested in and try to get a bunch of issues that are either consecutive or like close by so I can kind of pick up some kind of story or some kind of thread. So I picked up some Conan comics I was checking out. So I have some of those. And I never read Conan before in my life. So that's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I did mention too, I do want to collect the Crystar series. So far, I've only grabbed the one. You know, there's not a ton of them around. But if you do find them, they're generally pretty inexpensive.
Mhm. Mhm.
What
Yeah.
about you, Rhino? You been doing any comics or anything like that?
It's mostly manga. I'm right there with Brick. I've been into Dan to Dan. I've finished Berserk. I really wish they would just give you one more volume because the way it ended, I understand that the writer passed away, but that and Solo Leveling, that's probably the extent of my comics right now. Haven't really kept up with like DC or Marvel or anything like that.
Mhm.
You know what I have been doing? That's a little bit new. Is I tried that book Between Two Fires. That was the subject of the last book layer, like dork layer, um, like book club book. And I gotta be honest with you, man, I just couldn't get into it. I just like, I'm not sure. I've kind of like drifted away from it a little bit. Like I made it through part one, I was into part two. And I just wasn't loving it. Loving it. But
Audio,
then, what's that?
the audio
Yeah,
book.
yeah. So
Okay.
I get it. I end up in the car a lot for either work or whatever else. So like audiobooks like work out pretty well for me. But I started a different one I've been meaning to start for a while. So the Maryland Toy Expo was a couple of weeks ago, right? Ryan, you were there. And that show was a great show, awesome show. And on the way down, I picked up Patrick Boyle, and he rode with me down to the toy show. And Pat is a big fan of Wheel of Time. So I was like, you know what? I've never read Wheel of Time. This would be cool to, you know, get the audiobook and maybe we could listen to it, right? So as it turned out, on the way down, I think we were just too excited about the show, and we were just talking, just bullshitting like the whole time on the way down. So we didn't listen to it. But on the way back, we did listen to it, and I've been checking that out, and that's pretty cool. So I'm excited to kind of keep going and you know, get through the first book and see where I'm at. Wheel of Time.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, not every read is for everybody. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, sometimes you find something that really, you know, sticks, and sometimes you just, I don't know, you're just not into it, and that's cool. Like I said, it's just a matter of opinion of like I said, what works for you and what doesn't. Some, you know, a lot of people don't even enjoy, like, let's say, like medieval fantasy. They like space fantasy, you know what I mean? So it doesn't, you know, even though they're both fantasy based, being that it's, you know, medieval type stuff, it's not the same as like, laser beams and fucking, dog fights in space or something like that. You know what I mean? So just depends on the reader or what you're, like I said, what you're really into.
Yeah, Trevor says Between Two Fires. That is so. And again, people whose opinions that I, that I not just that I trust, but that I think whose interests somewhat align with a lot of mine have told me like, nah, it's good. It gets good. Man, I'm through part 1 into part 2, and like nothing good has happened. Like nothing that like where like nothing where you're like, oh man, that was cool, or oh man, that's awesome. You know what I mean? It was like, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to it because I don't like leaving things without having at least finished it, so I can have like a completed opinion on it. But I feel like I'm pretty far into it. Tanya says Wheel of Time is a hard read because of all the freaking characters. Keeping them all straight is so difficult. That's true, especially when the book starts and there's a character named Rand, who is the main character as far as I know, and Rand and like not Dan, but something just like the mayor, like the mayor of the small town has a name that's just like Rand, and the main character is Rand. So I don't know. There's a lot of different characters there.
I kind of feel the same way. If I had read Game of Thrones rather than watch the series, all the names that are in Game of Thrones, I think my mind would have been, I would have freaking, went into convulsions trying to remember all those names. You know what I mean? Or like, who's this character? What? Wait, what? Like, you know what I mean?
And with the way they introduce them and they kill them off that fast.
Yeah, as fast as they can. Yeah, you're like, wait, what happened to this? Wait, wasn't he important? Like, what? Why isn't this guy here anymore?
I did the first book of the Song of Ice and Fire, so Game of Thrones, the first book, and it's really good, but it is like you've got to battle your way through it just because it's so long. And I watched the show first, then I went back and started checking out the books, and again on audiobook.
Yeah.
But the one thing that really, really struck me about specifically Game of Thrones, the first book, is how much the show took like directly from the book. Like dialogue. I'm talking some of the dialogue. Now, there's huge chunks of the book that are just not in the show. Just like the show would be like, hundreds of hours long.
Right.
But like word for word conversations directly pulled from the book. And it's sort of like, tells you why, like when they ran out of book material, the show suffered. When they ran out of book material, the show really suffered after that. But yeah, I did some cool stuff this week. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on as far as things to talk about, things that sort of came to my mind. Obviously, we've got what looks like a new Mythic drop next Wednesday night. We're going to hear about this, and it sounds kind of cool. Sounds like almost like a mythic horror almost type of thing. So I'm excited about that. Like that would be cool to talk about. We're starting to get some more news about San Diego Comic-Con and some of the reveals that are coming out before then. But I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about myself. No, but this week, because my daughter's been in New York City for this dance thing, Victoria, my wife, is the one who's kind of been taking her in and out of the city, and they stayed in a hotel room one night. But I got to pick up Grayson on Wednesday when it was still about 1 billion degrees. But then yesterday, I drove in with Victoria and Grayson, and we dropped Grayson off at the school. And then the rest of the day, Victoria and I just kind of like wandered around New York City, which was just, a great time. We don't get, as many chances to kind of just do that, like to just go and just hang out somewhere for like a whole day, like on a random day. And like, man, it was just so awesome to just wander around New York City. I had a couple of things. We're a good team, me and Victoria, because she's really good at like navigating, and like saying like, what's the quickest way to get here? And she does subways in whatever city she's in and all this. And I have no idea how to get anywhere. Like literally from here to my kitchen, I'm pulling out iMaps to figure out how to get there. But I have ideas. So and things that I want to do. So like right away, I'm like, all right, bang, this is perfect. So because Jurassic World is coming out, the new movie's coming out next week, as like a promotion, they have like a giant life-size dinosaur at Rockefeller Center. I'm like,
Oh,
I gotta
nice.
go see that dinosaur. If we've got time, I'd love to see the Ghostbusters firehouse. You know, like I have ideas. So it's kind of like we went off, and like then I'm like, all right, let's do this, and then she would like navigate the way. So we saw the dinosaur. That was really cool. We didn't end up going to see the Ghostbusters firehouse just because we were running out of time. But we did stop a few times, like, and just sat like outside, like, and had a drink at like this place and have a snack at that place. And we were sitting at at this like this Irish pub, but outside. And it was like the weather on yesterday, Friday, was so gorgeous, so much better than the heat wave that we've had over here on the East Coast for the few days before that. And we're just sitting there chilling out. So I just Googled, and like Victoria said, like, yeah, they're like there are places to like go look at like toys and stuff like that. I'm like, not really. Not, you'd be surprised. New York City doesn't have as many things as you might think in that regard. But so I just Googled like action figures near Times Square and was reminded that Tamashii Nations has a store right in Times Square. And I'm like, oh my God, we need to go.
Yeah.
So we went to the Tamashii Nation store. And I got to admit, it was super cool. It's very much like if you've ever been to a convention where Tamashii Nations has a booth, like New York Comic Con, it's basically like the booth, like in like a little store in Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
But it is right in Times Square, like it is right there, and it's freaking awesome. I will admit, for a lot of it, I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at because you know a lot of Tamashii Nations does a lot of like anime and stuff like that, stuff that like Ryan would know all about. Eric, you would know a ton more than I would or whatever, but some of the stuff looks so freaking cool. If I can, I'm going to try to. So I took some, I did snap a couple of photos, which I shared with you guys. And then I also took some like, yeah, that's right, Brick. Yeah, Tamashii Nations. I took some rudimentary video. And I say rudimentary because I haven't even really looked at the footage yet. And I might chop it up into like a short little video for the channel. But as I'm taking it, I'm like, this has got to be terrible footage because I'm like looking at the different cases, but I'm like getting distracted, like and seeing something else. And I'll look back and like the camera's like looking at the floor or something. But that's probably the best way to kind of show stuff. So I'm going to try to put the video up, but like no sound so we can just like keep talking, but sort of have that on there. So let me see if I can do this. Can I do this without playing the sound? I don't know.
So I've wanted to visit for a while. Is it a big store?
So here you go. So we can.
No,
So this is it.
Perfect.
So it's not a big store. It's a pretty small store. But it's, it's got well-lit cases. As soon as you walk in, there's all kinds of like anime stuff. Like if there's anything that you see there that kind of like catches your eye, you want me to stop it, just tell me and I'll try to. Yeah.
Tamashii Nations, their stores aren't that big. I mean, I've been to a few of them, and yeah, they're definitely not that big, but they're jam packed with cool shit. It's just it's ridiculous, like how much cool stuff they have inside those stores.
And so much of the stuff, like even like the anime stuff, even if you're like me and you're not familiar with a lot of the anime characters or anything like that, some of it looks so cool it doesn't matter. Like you're gonna see there's a shelf of I don't even know what the property is, but all of the figures, they're like SH Figuarts figures, and they're like all have like VAC metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like I almost bought one of those. They were so cool. But you can see they have like a Marvel, like little Marvel section here with like the new Deadpool, the new Wolverine, the newest Venom. Like it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, and they have the new like the Peter Parker with like the bathrobe and stuff.
SH Figuarts still kills it, bro.
So
cool.
I love SH Figuarts so much, man. I feel like I don't hear as much about them these days, but I love SH Figuarts figures. The articulation's awesome. They feel great. If they're like listen, if I use the wrong terminology for like Dragon Ball or anything, I apologize. I don't mean to, but like where they look like little kids, is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, I think they're the Daima figures.
Yeah, they did.
Like
They did. Like they
ones.
had like there was a new one that came out like during like New York Comic Con time. Like they had that one. I'm pretty sure I go over there too, so you can see some of it. But like, they also like, I just love that they do like random shit. Like, they have like Squid
Dude,
Game
those-
figures.
Mm-hmm.
Those Figure Zero statues are incredible, man.
Mm-hmm.
Kamen Rider.
Mm-hmm.
Kamen Rider stuff looks incredible.
So dope.
Yeah, they are.
But you know what I almost bought but I didn't. They have they had the Beetlejuice there.
From what make? SH Figure Arts?
SH Figure Arts Beetlejuice.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I think you passed. It was in the. You just passed it. It was up in the display case.
Yeah. And like I said, I apologize again. Like the video is
good.
probably going to be like all like moving around and like switching.
No, that's
back
fine.
and forth
That's
and
fine.
stuff
You're just
because-
trying to check, and you can see how crowded it is in that store. It's a small store, so I mean, you get 20
she's-
people in there, and it's like asses to elbows, probably.
You still got a lot of good shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we'll see. They have this. The things that really jumped out at me, like I said, the Beetlejuice. But I already pre-ordered the Mezco one, so I was like, I don't need the SH Figure Arts too.
Saint Seiya.
Here's the Vac Metal stuff I was talking about. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's all.
What is
that's
this,
Saint
guys?
Seiya. Saint Seiya. I think these are from Soul of Gold, I believe the series was called. And then these are in the original Saint Seiya. Those are all like the core characters right there.
they're gorgeous. So as cool as they look, like in the video, in person, like the Vac Metal is like shiny as all get out. Like I don't even know what
Knights
these
of
characters
Zodiac.
are, but I was like, I thought about buying one of those.
Yeah, those are pretty dope.
Says Zodiac. Is that one of them? Zodiac.
Yeah, they're Knights of the Zodiac. What they get pretty pricey too, though.
Yeah, but some of them were very pricey, like a couple $100. But some of them were like where they have the figure and then like the bodysuit part. They were only like $90 or something like that. So
Mhm.
expensive, yes,
That's
but
not bad. Oh,
for like a figure
that
and like a
merch.
whole other part. Yes, dude, they have the Voltron,
Voltron. Oh,
Hell yeah.
and they had, I don't know if Dylan's here or not, but they had Godzilla and Kong here. A bunch of the Godzillas. That Dark Magician was awesome. This White
White
Dragon, I think I need this one day in my life. I
That's
Yeah,
really wanted
that's
to
pretty
buy it.
dope, dude.
Yeah,
That's really
So
dope.
good.
I didn't even know it existed before yesterday, and I was like, oh my god, now I need it. But and the box is big though. Like if I walked out of there with a giant box, I think Victoria would have been stressed. I didn't want to do that to her.
Yeah, boy.
And of course, for all the Gundam fans out there, they had a bunch of Gundam stuff there too.
Hell yeah.
Evangelion.
Yeah.
Now were these? Oh, it's all metal build. That's why it's pricey.
So,
Yeah.
so does metal build? And Eric, you said like the metal
Yeah.
when I showed you the picture. Does that mean they're actually made of metal?
Yeah, they're like a I want to say like a die cast. I'm not sure if it's die cast or
Yeah,
not, but yeah, they
it
are
is.
they are metal pieces. Yeah, it's full on, man.
The
Like
purple
I
one.
said,
Tremendous.
super dope.
The purple one's one of the coolest. There you go. Here's some of your stuff here too.
Yeah, bro.
Eric.
Yep. Those are fucking dope.
But the purple one is one of the most beautiful action figures I've ever seen.
Yeah, look at
$400.
That Voltron.
That Voltron's
Vol-
sick. Yep. Hell yeah. Mecha Godzilla all day, baby. That's so sick. Like I said, there's so much cool shit in those cases. I don't know how you walked out of there without buying like fucking 10 things, dude. I would have went
Yeah.
to town in that store. That's cool. Good vids in there, man. It's good
Oh, is that
times.
the end of that? That's the end of the video, I guess, huh? Oh shit. All right.
Good times.
Yeah, I think. Well, like I said, the Beetlejuice, I thought about getting, and now I think I might go back and get it. The White Dragon, I thought looked amazing, but again, it was probably too big of a purchase right then and there. Plus, if I see something that I really, really like, but I've never seen it before, I kind of want to marinate on it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, am I still gonna want it 2 weeks from now or a month from now? I think I probably will,
Mm.
but like, so now it's just something I can like kind of dream about. So
It's awesome.
Yeah, so like I said, I'll try to chop it up and do something with it, but
Good stuff, man.
boom. So that's that. So what I did walk out with, I wanted to grab something. So I grabbed they had the Tamashii store exclusive Pac-Man.
Nice.
Nice.
So Pac-Man's awesome, and it was like $30.
Nice.
Now, I don't know if this is different at all from the Pac-Man they already did. Like they did a Pac-Man a few years ago, and like you could get it like on sale for like $20, like at some point. But I just wanted to walk out with something from the store, so I grabbed that. I grabbed
Hell
Pac-Man.
yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a good
That
get,
works.
man.
Yeah, for sure.
But so, like I said, Grayson's intensive program is done today, but she got into 3 different programs this summer, so she's going to go back at the Harlem School of Dance or something like that in Harlem, and that's for 2 weeks, and that's later in July. So I'll be back in the city, and this is how cool Victoria is. But when we left and we're taking the subway back to where we needed to go, and I was like, man, this Pac-Man's cool, but I kind of wish I'd gotten that Beetlejuice. And Victoria's like, I thought you were going to get that Beetlejuice. And I'm like, damn it, I should have gotten the Beetlejuice. And she was like, well, you're going to be back here at the end of July. You're going to just come back to the Tamashii Nation store. And I was like, you always make everything better. Mrs. Hedgehog, you make everything better. Now, she saw the price tag on the dragon and she almost fainted. But but
you're like, it's imports, it's tariffs.
she's like, I don't give a fuck.
But she told you to get the Beetlejuice so you wouldn't get the dragon.
Yeah. So then, like, we were always there was like an outside shop that we were going to end up going back to Times Square last night. We didn't. Like, we figured something else out. But if we did, I was thinking about going back to the Tamashii Nation store, and I'm like, I can't do that because the Beetlejuice is 90, right? This guy was 30. That's 120. You're almost at White Dragon right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but if I go back on a different day, it doesn't count. The clock starts again.
Absolutely. Clean slate.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I got the Pac-Man, and then I grabbed this. Tell me what you think of this guy. So let me solo myself here. Look at this guy. So this is a Spider-Man.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So like one of those like street vendors, and he had a whole table of all kinds of stuff that he basically made with wire coils, right? It's metal wire coils.
That's pretty artistic, man. That's pretty cool.
And it was all like dragons and little different stuff. And then he had like some superheroes. He had a Spider-Man, Captain America, an Iron Man, a couple of Transformers. And the thing that was so cool about it is when you walked up on the side of his table, he had a side table and he had spools of the wire coils.
Mm-hmm.
And he's making some of the shit right there. So it's
that's cool.
It's
nice.
like he literally makes it like by hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's so freaking cool. I want something like that, you know?
Yeah, that's different. That's definitely different. That's
and
cool,
like
man.
$20. And like I asked him how much it was, and he was like $20. He was like $20, and he's like, I'm sorry, like each one probably takes me about 4 hours to make. And I'm like, dude, don't apologize. Like,
you're giving giving your artwork away, bro. That's crazy.
$20, like
that's crazy. Yeah, that's really cool.
But I bet a lot of people have probably seen it because I mean he was right in Times Square, so I wouldn't be surprised if people have seen this kind of thing before. But
it's pretty
it's
awesome.
Really cool. Like it's impeccably done.
It's very cool.
Like I would have thought maybe like
you're like, hey, can you do Mythic Legions?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sweet.
Can you do me an ice troll?
Yeah. He's like, what? You're like, here, let me bring up a picture for you.
Yeah. So
that's
awesome. That was that. I should probably open this guy. As far as toys and stuff. Oh, I did get my AS6 order in. So I got what did I get? I got Thrasis. So I didn't get an all-in for AS6. But I got a nice little order. I got Thrasis, Barodoc, the horse, Deacon the horse. That stuff's sitting on my dining room table right now. Victoria was like early this morning, she was getting ready to go, and she's like, where did this horse come from? You got another horse? And I'm like, yeah, I got another horse. And then at the Maryland Toy Show, I picked up a Gideon because I hadn't gotten Gideon in my original Necro order, and that figure's awesome.
Oh yeah, dude, so good, bro.
Yeah. So,
That's cool.
that's it
Yeah,
for now.
I gotta pick up some of the when I get to Legions Con this year. I have to pick up some of the AS6 wave. Definitely. One of the few pre-orders that I somehow passed on. I didn't even realize that because most of the pre-orders, if I mean I haven't been doing all-ins for quite a while now, but I have
Mhm.
been cherry picking out of every one of the waves or drops that have come around, but I somehow just missed the boat on getting those. So it's all good. They'll I mean, like I said, every year it's like I always know everything's going to be there at Legions Con. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'll patiently wait and grab what I need.
Yeah.
Even though I only have currently 10 open pre-orders with Four Horsemen Studios right now. So yeah, I think I got something coming one of these days.
Yeah, I was trying to think of how many I had. I mean, I can just check, but right off the top of my head, I know I've got, I guess kind of going backwards. I mean, the dragon, obviously. I got the dragon. I got a Rise of the Beast all in. I did do an all in for Rise of the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an Ashes of Agbendor all in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got the when they did that little like not mini wave, but like the where they did like the additional parts that Eric Miller painted for like the dragon and stuff.
The head packs and the packs parts. Yeah,
I got one of those.
Did you do the Silver Knights with the books?
I pre-ordered the book, but not the Silver Knight.
Mm.
I did not get a Silver Knight. Did you grab any of those?
Oh yeah, I think I grabbed 4 or 6 of them. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I just figured for the price point, and I was like, we haven't seen that big Silver Knight builder pack like that in fucking years. So when I saw that, I was definitely like, I'll grab a few. So I think I grabbed like 4 or 6, one of the two.
And then what else is there? There's Rising Suns, right?
Rising Suns, and then
Ox Crew and Ox Crew 2.
Ox Crew, yeah. Ox Crew 2. Yep.
But oddly enough, so I have no pre-orders open, like not direct pre-orders open for Rising Suns or the 2 Ox Crews.
Mm-hmm.
And what's up, Eric? I love both Ox Crew waves, but they both just came at like bad times for me. Like Ox Crew 1, like we were there, Ryan, when they announced them at PowerCon that year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome. I fucking love the wave, but like literally I just spent a boatload of money on myself to take a trip to a toy show in Ohio. And I was just like, oh man, I can't. I just spent all this money just on myself to take this trip by myself. I can't spend any more money right now on the action figures that were announced there. So I'll still pick most, if not all of them up, but I'm going to be going, I'll be going retailer basically at this point, or shows,
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, you know what? There was a reason why I wore this Silverhawk shirt today. Was a couple more of the Super 7 VAC metal Silverhawks are about to ship. So Steel Will and Bluegrass, the VAC metal versions,
nice,
which I had on pre-order from Big Bad. Very excited about them, and I got a shipping notice this week. And they were supposed to arrive today, and now it looks like they're not going to get here till Monday. So now I'm sad. Yeah, so I got to wait.
Better late than never, dude. That's cool.
Yeah.
How many of the VAC metal ones do you have so far now?
The only 2 that have come out are Quicksilver and Steelheart, the first 2.
Okay.
So these Bluegrass and Steel Will are the next 2, and I'm pretty sure, unless I'm misremembering, those are the only ones they've solicited so far. So they still would need to do Copper Kid, maybe Hot Wing would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, Brian.
Very
Brian
cool.
Brink says he got his Steel Will and Bluegrass yesterday from Entertainment Earth. Thanks a lot, Big Bad Toy Store.
That's funny.
Well, I hope the company doesn't tank, but unfortunately, Super 7, in the midst of like when all the tariff stuff and everything was going on, they had a bunch of layoffs. They laid a bunch of people off. Hasbro laid a bunch of people off too. I heard recently. It's very sad, man. I hate hearing about people lose their jobs, man.
It sucks.
Yeah. That's
But,
never a good time, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so Copper Kid would be another one. But if I just got those 4, I'd be happy. But I mean, plus they're expensive, man. The Vac Metal ones, selling them for $65.
Is that what those cost?
Yep. 65. Oh, hey, what's up? Yes. So, Pink Lemonade here, Koki Monica, got herself a little dose of Victoria when I took Victoria and the 2 kids to the barbecue at the G's house a few weeks ago. That was a blast, man. That was a really good time.
Hell yeah.
Great time.
Let's see here.
Yeah, that was really cool to go visit G and his family when I was up there in Philadelphia, dude. That was super dope. That was a cool little road trip up there. And it was cool too, because I mean, I went to the Frazetta Museum, which was like 2 hours from the hotel, and G's house was literally like 15 minutes from the museum. So I was like, oh, that's freaking perfect, bro. So yeah. That was a good time, man.
They're both saying you got to come back.
Hell yeah.
Here we go. Here it is.
Hey, when you guys are at some of these, like see, you went to the Maryland one, and what other toy show did you go to, Jonathan? Did you go to another toy show since the last time we talked?
Maryland Toy Expo was the one that was a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And Lehigh was end of April, beginning of May.
Right.
So that
when you guys are at either of those shows or any of the local shows that you guys usually do on a yearly basis, do you ever see anyone that carries like a better selection or like a big selection of like the 4 Horsemen? What is it, that men from space, or those little space guys? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
For sure.
I don't see it too often, if at all.
It's weird how I never see those figures. It's like, it's so like, I mean, you can find them on eBay or Amazon or whatever, but to see people like let's say a booth that has someone that has like those available, like it's weird that you don't see those. I don't know if it's just did they not do big runs of them? Are they not that popular? Are they, you know what I mean? Are they not that big in the collecting circles? It seems weird that they're not. I would think that they would be more out there, especially with, you know, how big the 4-H name has become in the last few years with the collecting community. You would think that product would kind of like have a resurgence in like collectability scale. You know what I mean?
I would have to assume, or I mean, I don't have to assume, but I assume that
Outer
really
Spaceman,
not
thank
that
you.
many got made.
Mm-hmm.
And it was enough years ago that it was before we, reached this most recent like boom period where everything got like super produced. It was, years before that. So that's what I assume.
Yeah.
Kirby with a really good description here. Men and women and other who are from space that are out
rather than in. Yeah.
Well, it's still, I mean, to your point though, going to these shows sort of reminds you of in each little area of like the collecting world, like you can end up like in your own little echo chamber as like a negative connotation, but your own little lane where like you think you're like, man, like I'd be surprised if I didn't see more of this. But like you go to like the Maryland Toy Expo, which is an upper mid-size show, Grind. Do you think that's a fair estimation?
Yeah.
Like it's like 2 buildings full of like vendors and stuff.
Yeah.
And
pretty big sizes.
Yeah. And as far as 4 Horsemen stuff, you've got the actual street team tables.
And
there might be like 1 or 2 or 3 other tables that have like legions at all. You know,
Well, the reason I asked about it was because earlier Ryan, you could probably show him. Ryan was showing me some figures that he picked up at Maryland that were like a vintage type line of something that I had never even heard of.
Oh yeah.
These Ultra Force figures. I'm like, oh, I'd never even heard of it. He's like, oh yeah, I remember having these as a kid and blah blah blah. And he's like something he was really into, and he found some, mint on card figures that I was like, oh, those are really super cool. So that's why seeing stuff like this, where you normally wouldn't see that at a toy show, something like Maryland that would bring out more of like the vintage stuff. I mean, obviously you're going to have your current, waves of figures or characters or whatever that everybody's looking for. But sometimes you find those little pockets of those little tables that have stuff that you would, you definitely wouldn't see at a normal, everyday toy shows. That's why I was asking, do you see a lot of the outer spacemen at toy shows? And I've never seen anybody post any like tables or vendors or anybody that like has, like, when you do your walkthroughs, which are awesome, just used to laying back and watching, an entire con go by on video, and you could see all the tables and all the different, type of stuff that either nostalgic or current, stuff that they have available. But I never see those damn outer spacemen, and I'm like, that's just weird. It's just one of those lines that it's so obscure that you don't see it that much. It's so weird.
I don't see those a lot, but I mean, sort of like to your point, that's my favorite thing about going to conventions, really, is especially vintage, like just seeing things that you never knew existed, or you've never seen it in person, or something like that. Steph says it's always about the hunt. I feel like indie. So I had a cool moment like that at I didn't mean to do that. Speaking of that, that's right. Superpowers Dr. Fate in the house.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw when you were at one of the tables. I remember when you were filming, you were like kind of geeking out because you were spotting at one table some guy had some like old Crystar figures that you were like, oh wow, like you were like, and it's cool, like I said, to see stuff like that you normally would never see at a everyday like normal toy show or con or whatever. Sometimes you run into those little sweet spots of people that like bring stuff that back from nostalgia days that you go, oh, I totally remember having this figure or whatever, and I haven't seen one of those kind of figures in years, and there it is, mint on card. You're like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that booth, man, he had a couple of Crystar figures, and they were like $300 or $400 each on card.
Yeah.
And then he had one of the dragons. So they did a couple of dragons. They had one like emerald green dragon. It wasn't it wasn't that bad as far as the money he wanted for it. It wasn't complete, but he did have the rider. I forget what he wanted. He also had the I think were they made by Diamond Select, the Thundar figures from Toynami. And they had Thundar.
Female Thundar.
Yes, so like Thundar, there was the female. God damn it, I know her name now. I went and I looked it up. So when I was looking at it, there was Thundar, there was the female character, and then there was Ukla the Mock, which was like their Chewbacca basically from Thundar. And as I'm looking at it, I was like, yeah, they had Thundar, Girl Thundar. What was her name? Was it not Angel? Oh god, I feel like an idiot now. Hold on one second. But Girl Thundar was pretty good. Thundar characters. Ariel. That's what her name was. Her name was Ariel, but I called her Girl Thundar. But so those that
was on it.
So they were.
Thank you, Brick.
The figures are not even that old, right? They're from like the 2000s, I think, right? The 2000s or the 90s. So not vintage from when the cartoon was out. But as far as I know, they're the only Thundar figures that have ever been made. And you never see those things ever at all, like on eBay. Like you might see like one or two every once in a while. And he had them all pristine, on card, looking gorgeous. All three of them. And a vintage Thundar board game. And he was like, I'm only selling them together. Like,
oh, nice. Yeah.
$450 for everything. And I'm like, man, that's probably not even a bad price. Like, it's not something that I could spend. But I was telling everybody about it. I brought Ryan over there. I was like, and I was going back for like the third time to check them out, and they were gone.
Oh, just like
Somebody
that. Yeah.
grabbed them. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone had that vintage freaking like juice for that, man. They were like, oh, nostalgia.
There you go. I didn't know that Jack Kirby did Thundar. I had no idea.
Nice.
Brick says he would kill for modern, highly articulated Thundar toys, especially the villains, some of Jack Kirby's finest work.
You never know, man.
But
Toy
there was that
collecting is always
stuff.
somebody.
And then I know G will like this too. He was telling me the other day he's getting into collecting the AD&D line. So the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons action figure line from the early 80s, you know, Wardude and all those. And he picked up a couple recently.
Yeah.
I had a cool moment at the Maryland Toy Show where I was just going through, you know, table after table, and there was a table with just random figures on it, and they had like probably 4 or 5 of like creature figures. So the AD&D line, they had Warduke and a couple of, you know, a bunch of like the humanoid creatures, and then they would have like characters, excuse me, and then creatures that were like just non-posable but cool, like little creatures or whatever. They probably had 4 or 5 that I'd never seen before. And I was like, I took video footage of them, and it was just like moments like that where I like the AD&D line. I have some of the figures. I'm collecting it at shows when I see them. But then, like, you know, you see some characters that you're like, I don't remember ever seeing this before, certainly not in person. And you'll only get it at something like that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool to see something that you've never, you know, physically known or seen. Like I said, those figures that Ryan got, I've never seen those in my life, and it's really cool to see something like that. And like I said, those figures are pretty awesome looking. It's like, wow, it's weird to think that I've never in my life ever run into that.
I had never. He showed them to me there. I had never even heard of Ultra Force.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was like it looks like a 90s property. It's from the 90s, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I used to watch the cartoon. They actually had Ultra Force on Prime. I don't know if it's still there, but it was on there for a little while. I started watching it. It's not terrible, but it wasn't the greatest. I think I liked the toys more than the cartoon. So,
was it like a Japanese cartoon that they imported to the U.S. or no?
No, I think it was actually a comic book. And if it was a comic book, I never read the comic series. I was only familiar with it from the cartoon. So the main character was kind of like a Shazam character. I believe he was a little kid who turned into that giant musclehead dude. But
the pieces you got are beautiful, though. They're perfect, like the ones you got.
Yeah, it's because I think because he wanted to sell them all as a set because he didn't want to take them home. He was like, $20 for all 4 of them. I said, okay, let's do it.
Steal, man. Hell yeah. It's awesome.
Actually, if you guys will keep going, I'm going to go grab a couple things that I picked up from the show too, if you guys don't mind.
Awesome.
Yeah. It was a comic book, smaller published. Jeffrey Evans, Malibu Comics published Ultra Force. There you go.
There you go. Right on. Yeah, like I said, a line or a characters I had never heard of before until today. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you caught up on any new movies? I just went to go see the 28 Years Later the other day with Diego. It's pretty cool.
I have not. The last movie that I watched, that I went to theaters for, is Sinners, which was a fantastic movie, by the way. And then I watched Predator Killer of Killers on Hulu, the animated one.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Did you check that out?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I just watched. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I finally watched. It was a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. I finally watched Blue Eyed Samurai. That was really cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That comes out with a season 2 soon.
Yeah. And yesterday, because it dropped yesterday, my mom and I, we freaking binged the whole season 3 of Squid Game yesterday. So yeah.
That's one I still haven't watched yet.
You haven't watched any of them?
I haven't watched Squid Games yet.
You've never watched Squid Game? Oh yeah,
No.
you're in for a ride, dude. That's really good. It's really good. Yeah, Blue Eyed Samurai was the shit. That's really really beautifully done and very well told. Very cool.
So
Yep.
he was.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gotcha.
he's in it. Yep. Yeah, it was enjoyable. Like I said, seeing it and stuff. That's pretty cool. How
So are you gonna see? I'm just throwing it out there. Are you gonna see the new Superman, or are you gonna hold off on that?
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I'll definitely go watch it. Yeah. You're not feeling it, or you're just
No, I'm all for it. I
oh
actually like
yeah.
what I saw because I'm gonna form my own opinion. I'm not listening to any of the stuff going on the internet.
Right. No, that's I'm like I said, take what your own your own opinion with you. Enjoy it or not enjoy it. One or the other. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be great. The one I'm kind of on a fence about only because of the past movies that have been made is the Fantastic Four, like how that's going to roll. Like if it's going to be worth the watch, or if it's just going to be, or if it's just going to tank. But the Superman
Yeah,
I think looks really fun. I think it looks really great. Love the new actor that's taking the lead role. I mean, you know, you when you get somebody like, Cavell that had did a great, Superman. I mean, you would think like who could ever replace that guy? It's when you get that face or that perfect character, interpretation of someone like that and you find it in human form like Hugh Jackman. I mean, you can't imagine another person ever playing Wolverine, you know what I mean? So if you had Hugh Jackman do as great a job as he did, and then the next film, here comes a new actor that's going to play Wolverine, you're kind of like on the fence about it. But this kid looks like he's like perfect for the role. So it's like I'm really excited to see what he does with it. It's going to be pretty awesome.
hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm psyched for the new Superman too. One thing I'll say, and I said this before, I think, was I'm definitely going to go see it for sure. To me, I'll still not that I want to compare them, but I'm not as excited for this Superman as some other people because I don't know. Like I love what it's going for. Like it feels like it's going for like a classic Superman feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm I hope it's great and I hope I enjoy it. But in my mind, I've already got my classic Superman movie and my Superman actor. Like my Superman is always going to be Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be the original Superman movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's just I was a kid, man. I was like that was Superman to me. Like little kid, 2 years old, running around with the towel tucked into my shirt. That was him, Christopher Reeve.
Yeah. I like how they're utilizing too, like the younger actors to do the role of Lex Luthor.
Mhm.
I really like the way that they're utilizing the younger actors for that role, as opposed to like the original, like Gene Hackman playing, Lex Luthor. Like, yeah,
Like there's so much of an age gap.
yeah. I like the younger actors playing that role.
I'm pumped about Fantastic Four though. Or I'm excited to go see it. I'm excited too to have Galactus in a movie. So I don't know how much of a role he's gonna like. I think from the trailer it looks like he's gonna be in the movie a lot, not just like the end or something like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, it's just one of those things where you kind of have that already that dark cloud over that IP from past movies that have been made, and you're just like, oh god, what a disaster that was. You know what I mean? So it's
It's
like
funny
one of those things you're hoping that it like someone finally does it right.
It does feel like now though that people we're starting to put a little bit of space between us and the DC EU. That people are looking back on the Henry Cavill Superman and stuff like that with like, what? There was something cool about I think it's okay to do different takes on things. It doesn't mean it's always going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of want to go back and check those movies out now with some time between me and them and see what I think about them now.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, like there are so many different. Just going to use Batman and Superman. So many different iterations, so many different universes that you could potentially have a different actor for every Batman movie at this point, because it's just a different story.
Right.
Because every actor is not going to act the same way, and
Right.
Batman changes and evolves, so does Superman.
Yeah.
And of the major Batmans, like, I don't know, is there a bad one? Like the Adam West campy Batman has its own thing.
Mhm.
And, that was, one of the first Batmans that I saw as a kid growing up. So I'll always have affection for it. Batman and in the cartoons in the 80s is one thing. My favorite is that one, Michael Keaton, 89 Batman. That's my favorite Batman. Then even the camp movies like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, which if you asked me in the 90s, I would have been like, they're the worst movies ever made. Now I'm like, they're kind of like 90s versions of the campy.
Yeah.
They've got their role.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't bother me that much.
And then you have the Christopher Nolan Batmans,
Mhm.
that series, that trilogy, which is pretty damn good. And now you have the Pattinson Batman movies. I think generally
about Batfleck.
Oh yeah, I glossed right over Batfleck. What do you guys take of those Batmans? Are there any that you're just like, to you, are just, not that they don't count, but you're like, you know what, that's the one I think sucks, basically.
Only because it's one of the least favored movies in the Batman series. I'd say like the Clooney Batman.
That was the one I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, it was just But I think each version of Batman played by the actors I think it's been pretty good.
Mhm.
I mean, it's each brings his own to the role. I mean, in the Batsuit, you're Batman. You know what I mean? It's like I think I look at it more as the role out the Wayne role. Outside of Batman, outside of the suit, like how that role's portrayed. And I love the Pattinson one because it's like year one, you know what I mean? When he's still young, and I love that. I love that vibe because he's still so like aggressive and intense, and he's vengeance, you know what I mean? It's like, so he hasn't really like calmed himself down or like, found that, and he doesn't have that, like that playboy, role that he's playing of the, billionaire, bad boy with the lady in his arm on his arm, or the Lamborghini that he's driving or whatever. I love how hard and gritty that role was portrayed in that film. I love it. And it's like I said, because he's so new to the character and to his life of becoming Batman.
And you got to see more of the detective part of it.
Yeah.
And you got the Penguin show out of it, which was fantastic.
Awesome show. Colin Farrell, man, what a phenomenal job he did on that role. So good.
So along the same lines of the guy who will mention time to time, full disclosure, I haven't opened this toy. I've never watched the Batman movie, the Pattinson movie.
Not on purpose. Watched it, really?
Never watched it. Not avoiding it. I just never got around to watching it. So maybe I need to do that tonight.
You
got to set aside some time for it.
Yeah, bro.
It's a little bit of a longer movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So worth it though, dude. Such a good film, dude. Such a good film.
I heard that they finished the screenplay officially, or like they announced that they finished the screenplay for the second one.
Yeah, there were rumors they were going to cancel it, and it's up in the air still. I'll believe it when I see it.
How about this? Here's a hot take for you. I think Christian Bale is overrated as Batman. I think he did a fair job. I mean, I think the movies and the stories in the movies overshadowed anything that he did in the movies. I think the films themselves as a whole were fantastic. I think Dark Knight I love Dark Knight. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Here's why. I actually don't mind Christian Bale as a different take kind of on Bruce Wayne, sort of like the younger, sort of like what the opposite of what you were just referring to, like the younger rich asshole playboy type thing. I think I could see that being him. Like I could totally get that.
Yeah.
Him as the Batman character, I feel like maybe he I don't know if it's overacting or I don't know what it is. He bugs me a little bit.
Yeah.
The voice
overemphasis of the Batman voice.
Yeah.
It kind of wears on you after a while. You're like, okay, like,
go ahead, man.
But I was gonna say he stopped. Like I thought he did a pretty good job at Bruce Wayne, because at that point he stopped being Bruce Wayne and he thought of himself as the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of had Bruce Wayne was the mask,
mm-hmm.
kind of like Clark Kent. But yeah, I just wish they would have gave him a voice changer, kind of like Batfleck, instead of him doing his own voice, because
right,
kind of off-putting.
Yeah, totally.
And meanwhile, on the other hand, I remember even as a kid, when the announcement came out, and you know what's funny? That actually happened a couple of times with the Batman movies. But in the 80s, when they announced that Michael Keaton was going to play Batman, even as a kid, I was like, Michael Keaton? I was like, that makes no sense whatsoever. Mr. Mom is going to be Batman?
Yeah.
And then I saw the movie and holy shit, like
who knew, right?
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's such a new, like it needed to be Tim Burton at that time. It needed to be Michael Keaton. He doesn't seem like Bruce Wayne at all, but in the movie, it was this cool, wacky, like him being off was perfect for it. It's like, yeah, because this dude's kind of fucking nuts a little bit. Like he's off, right?
Yeah.
Like who else would do the things that he did? Like
dress up as a bat.
Yeah, he dressed up as a fucking bat.
People.
And then again, it happened again when they made the announcement that Heath Ledger was going to play the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Heath Ledger? What? Like, how does that make any sense? A Knight's Tale?
Mm-hmm.
And he put his own spin on it, and it was totally different than the Jack Nicholson spin, which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. It was great. He made you believe that he was this crazy fucking psycho, you know?
Yeah.
Probably
more than any other role that anybody's ever portrayed of that character. I think it's just, it's freaking so good, man.
A lot of love for the Batman stuff here. Trevor says the Batman was fantastic.
Yeah, dude, you gotta watch it, dude. I can't believe you haven't watched that film.
I forget the actor's name who played Falcone or Falcone, however you say it. I thought when I first saw him, I thought he was an odd choice, but then as the movie went on, I was like, dude, he's fucking perfect in this role. The guy from the Transformers movies, he's in
Turturro. John Turturro.
Yes. Yeah. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah. Oh, he's an awesome actor, dude. He's an awesome actor.
Yeah, he was in Severance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what else he was in.
Yeah. My favorite role of John Turturro is his role in Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee joint.
Oh damn. Okay.
Yeah. Back in the day, dude. I've loved and his role as his role as Jesus in The Big Lebowski. You guys ever seen that?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen bits and pieces. I gotta watch it all the way through.
Oh, dude, that's a great film, bro. It's so good.
So Jesse chiming in. Jesse says the Bale movies are well made, except the third. Sorry. I was just trying to do a Bane voice. It didn't come out right. Except the third.
Gotham.
Why is he Grover now?
Yeah, what the hell?
I swear to God, I've done his voice before.
What did he say? I was born in the dark. You merely adopted it.
Yeah, that's much better than what I was doing. I was born in the dark.
You think darkness is your ally?
Jesse says the Bale movies are the least Batman of the Batman movies, too real for my tastes. I understand that, and that's what I think they were going for, right? Was like a little bit more of like a, and that might not jive with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, the three, they're very, very serious movies. You know what I mean? They're not like the fun play, like, wacky Batman style. The campy Batman. They're definitely not campy Batman.
No.
Yeah, at all.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so Batman. I feel like I was just going to say something else on the tip of my tongue about Batman. I don't know. Batman goes on forever. Oh, I did grab. I happen to have it here. So this is a SH Figuarts Squid Game figure.
Nice.
Friggin' awesome. They had this guy there.
Love the pose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I just did that right now, just messing around with him.
That's awesome.
And I didn't mention this guy from my AS6 order, Prince Andrew.
Yeah,
very cool.
This figure's awesome. Oh my god! I posted some pictures of this guy in the sunlight. Like, this copper color is so good,
beautiful, and
the soft goods are like, they're so like, it's so different now. Like, when you hold like a figure like this and it's got the soft goods on it, like it's a totally different experience. And like metal chain,
fantastic.
The effects, like, this thing's awesome. Oh yeah, Batman the Animated Series, Kevin Conroy, also iconic.
The GOAT.
Rhino, I know you were getting out. I thought actually we did talk about this, didn't we? This was you didn't get the Batman, the Mezco Batman, the Animated Series Batman, right?
No, dude, I wanted to. It took everything I had not to order that. But I was like, I'm just getting out completely, because I completely skipped the Gomez that they just put up.
Well, the 1975 one?
Yeah.
I went in on the Gomez.
But you got Tangerine, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Actually, her hand just fell off. She's right here. Yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, I would have feel better at 95 as opposed to the 120 or whatever he was. Like, but I think that's the new norm. I think that's just the new norm. Like, 120, which was like the deluxe price, the deluxe set price, might just be their regular price, which sucks. It sucks. But yeah. I will also say, I said this to you guys before, he comes with a full comic book. To me, that's a, like, as far as like all of the accessories and stuff you get with a Mezco figure, and sometimes they include stuff that's not really like a weapon or an accessory piece for the figure, but it's other stuff like that you might not really want or need. The comic book, I do want, and I do think, to me, that's a valuable piece to include with the set. And like, if I was at a show and they had like Mezco Rumble Society comic books, I'd pay $20 for one.
Sure. Trying to pull me back.
Sorry, I think Victoria just got home. How is that that can't be real. It's 5:30. What did she teleport from New York City? Wooba. Somebody else walk into my house?
Is it a ghost? Paranormal activity right
I don't think so.
Exactly.
I could have been my sister-in-law, but I don't think so. Wooba. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it is. How did she get here? Well, whatever. They must have left at 4:30 and they just got here. Yes. Yeah. Let me I'm shocked. So apparently my wife and my daughter must be home. That's crazy.
Hopefully they found that phone.
Yeah, they did. I got a text that they found.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, so what was I doing? Oh yeah, Prince Andrew. I grabbed the figures I got from Maryland Toy Show. So I was walking down one of the aisles, and what caught my eye? But some VAC metal, baby.
Nice.
VAC metal.
Anything
got
back
it.
metal.
Toy Biz Silver Surfer, beautiful. Vac metal looks gorgeous, no discoloration or anything.
On card, looking good.
On card, I'm pretty sure I'm going to open it though.
I'd
Kid-
imagine that would have went right on that wall behind you, man, with all those other carded figures.
That's the thing. He probably should, except for one thing. I don't know if you remember this from back in the day. This is the one where I think that's it. Yes. So it has like a little plastic ring that attaches to the surfboard,
Mm-hmm.
and you can put him on like a ring, so you can fly him around like this.
Oh, you're gonna have them on your hand, like running around the house with them.
Yeah, and just leave him there. Like that'll be my new ring. It'll be the Silver Surfer. Yeah, look, there's a picture of it. Here, I'll show it to you.
That's awesome.
See? See how? He's
Oh
doing
yeah,
it?
there you go.
Oh, dude. Yes,
I got to do that, right?
That's definitely coming out of
Yeah.
card. Yeah.
for sure.
And here's the thing: I'll just be on the hunt for another one because this one cost me $10.
Oh
So
wow, that's not bad at all.
that was fantastic. And another one of my favorite things: the price
A
tag.
hologram.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
old
price tag.
Kmart. Yeah.
Kmart $5.99.
Yeah. Isn't it weird though, like how you could find, I mean, vintage mint on card characters like that, and it's not like Silver Surfer's like not. I mean, Silver Surfer. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you could find something like that for $10, but yet you turn around and you find a mint on card Thundar figure, and it's like $400. It's like, wait, what? like Thundar was cool, but wasn't Silver Surfer cool? You know what I mean? Like, why is Silver
Especially-
Surfer 10 and Thundar's 400? You know, it's
And-
like
I figure Silver Surfer's going to be hot. Like Fantastic Four movies coming out.
right,
Presumably
right,
that's
right,
just
yeah,
the first one.
yeah.
right.
And $10, it's like that doesn't make any sense.
When the Fantastic Four comes out and it blows up, people won't think you're weird when you're out in public, like walking
Running around with
New
your
York
Silver Surfer
with the ring. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesse says to save this one because the card's in good shape. The next one, maybe it won't be.
Maybe, yeah. You
True.
never know.
or you could put it in a plastic case with it peeled off. Just put the card in there and then just sell it like it's mint on card.
True.
Could do that. If I knew how to do that. I wouldn't do that. I would never do that.
And then charge people for the plastic container.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know what you were getting at there for a second. So, you know what? That's right. We should talk about this. This bullshit. At the Maryland Toy Show, so mentioned that there was 2 buildings full of vendors. Right outside one of the vendors, right outside one of the buildings, Eternia Dreams had like their whole setup outside. They did the same thing last year. They have like a little trailer and you can go inside, and they got like an outside booth and stuff. And, their prices can be kind of pricey sometimes, Eternia Dreams, but man, they have the freaking fire like at their booth. Like, holy, like
Yes, they do.
they've got superpowers figures, and they've got, Cyborg. They've got like all like the rare ones. You go inside, like I took some footage of it. They've got a whole mythic section in their display, and they've got, what do you want? What do you want? Sir Valgard, they got it. They want the birds, they got the birds. You want Otho, they got Otho. All that shit is there, right?
Thord.
Incredible. So one of the things I've been looking for is a Motu Classics Roboto, right?
Mhm.
And I kind of want to get one on card, right? So, and you can see them, like you can find them. They're not that hard to find. But at this show, there was one loose Classics Roboto. And then Eternia Dreams had a whole display of Motu Classics figures. And, it's like they're hanging up on the pegs in the plastic, looking good. They all look really good. And I'm just, going through the figures, rummaging through, and I find a Roboto on card. Figure looks great. Figure looks beautiful, wonderful. And I'm like, oh my God. And the price wasn't even bad. I think it was marked. Was he marked at 65? He might have been marked at 65, maybe.
I think that's what you said it
yeah.
was.
And then I think like I went back and said, will you take, you know, what did I say? Like, will you take 45? Will you take 50? And the guy was like, I can't do that, but I'll do 55. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, hell yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting my Roboto. This is amazing. So I'm like, about to get ready to pay. And the guy's like, he's like, you don't want the card, right? You don't need the card. Do you want the card? I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, of course. Yeah, I want the card. And he turns around, he's like, how much are the cases? And they're like $8. And then he comes back and he's like, all right, so it's that plus another $8. So then it's 63. And I was like, what? And I guess I didn't realize it at first that they weren't on card. They were repacked loose classics figures, but with like the cardboard cutouts and everything, the inserts and the plastic cases they were in were shaped like classics cases. Now, I guess like if I was looking closer, like I guess you'd be able to tell that this was like a separately made plastic case, but it was made to look like, if you're looking quickly, like a classics case. So anybody that's been to Eternity of Dreams, maybe you've seen this before, and maybe people would be like, you're an idiot, like, you know, that was obviously, but like they're hanging on pegs. It has that weird classic shape to it.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like they were on card, and I was like, oh damn it. I was like, so the price is not even real. The price tag is on the plastic. The price is whatever that price is, add $8 to it, basically.
Right.
So
That's kind of weird. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say save your money for an actual one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On card, yeah. You'll find one.
Yeah. Although I kind of want an on-card one and a loose one, just because, Roboto is one of my favorite characters ever. So, and I will admit, their Roboto looked great. Plastic was completely clear, looked beautiful. I brought this down. This is my Thrasis. You guys know what he looks like.
Yeah. It's a great looking figure, man.
But also at the Maryland Toy Show, I picked this bad boy up. What's up, Kev?
Oh, nice.
Check out this McFarlane.
Yeah.
I can't see, so if I'm not straight.
Old McFarlane Gold right there, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So there was this one booth at the Maryland Toy Show. Had this. So the Sea Monster, the Sea Creature playset from McFarlane. And pretty sure this was from the time frame when the Horsemen were still working there, because it was $20. This set, $20 on card. And I didn't buy it, but I was like all pumped up about it. So when I went back to meet up with the homies, I was talking about it. And Jordan, Wholesome Warlock, Purple Gang was there. And he's like, yeah, like, I just got this. And he had bought, they had the same, from the same series, the Frankenstein set.
Yeah.
With the Eric Treadway head.
Mm-hmm.
And I had not even seen that. Jordan saw it, had already bought it, so he bought that one. And I was like, oh shit, you got that? If I had seen that, I would have bought that. I'm like, fuck this. I went back and I bought this one right away. So,
Nice.
Yeah, Rob. Yeah. It is. Brave Star.
Hell yeah.
I got him in Tex Hex. None of the stuff, no accessories. I mean, maybe it might be in a box somewhere. Maybe they weren't mine. It was part of a collection that I picked up a few years ago. Yeah. So that was it. So I thought that was. I mean, and that's my favorite thing at shows, is searching for vintage stuff, because you might see something that you've never seen before, something that you didn't know existed, or you can get some cool ass shit that catches your eye that you love. And like a lot of the stuff, you can get it for cheap. You look $10, $20. That's what I spent on this stuff. And I was happy as a pig and you know what, man. Super pumped about it. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy, like where you guys, at the shows that you guys go to, you'll find, carded figures like that for $10, $20, whatever. It's like, it's so different over here. Like, at like Frankensons. Like you can go and you could find tons of that old McFarlane Spawn stuff, old DC stuff, carded figures, stuff like that. A couple of the booths have a lot of that vintage stuff, but they're super expensive. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? Like there's one booth that has like, it's like the entire booth is surrounded by glass cases, like just probably like 20 glass cases that are like 10 feet tall, and they're filled with all loose figures. Literally thousands and thousands of loose figures. And you could look through the figures and you could spot a bunch of like old McFarlane stuff, old DC stuff, what have you, because they have them in different like lines. So they're not like mixed and matched all together. Like they'll have McFarlane stuff, they'll have Marvel Legends stuff, so on and so forth. But you'll see like old like McFarlane Spawn figures, like different from different series or whatever, just and figures you wouldn't even imagine, like oh, that figure's probably like loose, no accessories, probably $5, $10. They want like $45 for them. I'm like,
really?
What the fuck? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's like what the hell? It's like, that's how are you asking that kind of price for a figure like that? And it's like I said, has no accessories. It, probably doesn't even. I mean, it's like it's just I'm baffled by it, especially when I see stuff like what you guys pick up, and you're like, oh yeah, I paid $10 for it or $5 for it, or it's like, wait a minute, that's like a mint on card figure. Like if that was at Frankensons, that Silver Surfer, that'd be $50 at Frankensons. It's weird. It's just I have no idea why the pricing's so different out here as opposed to like what you guys find at these shows. And that's what, like I said, that's the great thing. I mean, if you're at one of these shows and you see stuff like that, like hell yeah, pick it up, because you never know when you're going to get a chance. Because like if you went on eBay and searched one of those figures, you'd probably be paying primo prices for it. You know what I mean? So it's just weird, like how different the pricing is.
It's weird because like normally for something like that, you'd be like, all right, maybe it was a distribution thing. But like, as far as I know, McFarlane has been a West Coast company for a long time. I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah. And a lot of the figures that are in those cases are figures that were in full rotation. Like there was no shortage, or, it wasn't like just, like the Spawn, movie figures, like remember those figures, and it's like those were like a dime a dozen on the shelves back in the day. And you see one of those figures loose in the case, and it's like $35, $45 for it. It's like, what the fuck? Like that's crazy. Like, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you asking so much money for this figure? But those figures are always full. So, the cases that are at that show are always full. So it's like, you're obviously pricing your shit wrong, man, because this shit is not moving. It's not moving. Because all the times that I go, all those cases still have the same figures in them that they did, the months prior or the years prior. They're all the same figures in there. And it's like, it's just crazy to think that, like I said, people think that they're going to get that kind of money for those figures, but I guess you like sitting on inventory. You know what I mean?
Maybe they just had it marked that way and they haven't changed it. They're just,
I guess. Yeah. Most of them, they're not actually marked. Some of them are marked, but there's so many of them, and you can't literally like sit there and price tag each one. There's, like I said, literally like tens of thousands of figures in these cases. So, you basically find a figure and ask one of the dudes like, hey, how much for this figure? And they'll go and ask somebody or whoever's, got the pricing on the whatever, and they'll come back and they'll tell you these ridiculous prices. And you're just like, oh, okay, never mind. Thanks. You know what I mean? I'll pass.
It's like, have you ever tried to not lowball them, but like negotiate the price? Is there no wiggle room?
You could, no, there's wiggle room. There's wiggle room. Okay. But when you're like I said, when you're expecting, not, like I said, you could sell the figures for whatever the hell you want to. But when you go and like I said, when you see stuff like what you guys pick up, and then you go to it like a show like Frankensons, and you see a loose old figure that, like I said, nobody's collecting. You know what I mean? Like literally, no one's. That's not anybody's grail. You know what I mean? And then you say, hey man, like, what do you want for that figure? You figure $15, $10, $20 most. and they're like, yeah, $45, you know, or $60. You're like, what? Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, like how out of range the price is. It's completely like offsetting.
That's
Or like
wild.
some of the booths that have like the old, you know, not mint on card, but on card, like old Spawn series figures from all the different lines. I mean, there's 30 different series of Spawn. So I mean, you know, you'll find, you know, some of the old like medieval ones or some of the cyber Spawn or whatever.
Yeah, like
And
the
you'll
original Spawn got pricey. Not crazy, but he was
yeah,
kind of
yeah, but it had its high point, and then it dropped off. But now you'll find like these random figures in this booth, and of course, like the old, if you know the old Spawn stuff, you know, a lot of those cards are the plastic's all yellow, and you know, and it's, I mean, you know, the cards, they're on card, but the corners are all curled or whatever, or bent or whatever, and they still want like $60-$75 for them, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy. It's like, what? Like, are you kidding me? Like this, you know, I don't know. Like I said, it's weird how people price things, where, you know, you guys will go to shows and you'll find stuff like what you guys find, and you're like Ryan, you got 3 figures for $20. It's like, what the fuck? Like that's a steal, you know, 4 figures for $20. I mean,
and it shows all the
that's
shows
crazy.
we go to. The price is very like. Well, Ryan's got a story, but the price is very rarely the price. Like it's pretty like expected, like almost like European style. Like whatever it is, it's kind of like, hey man, will you take whatever? You go $5 less, $10 less, whatever.
Right.
And most of the time it's like, yeah, like most of the time they're like, oh yeah, I can do, or I can't do that, but I'll meet you in the middle usually. But this one I didn't even do that because right off the bat.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't even
worth
see that it was March 20.
$20.
It was
Yeah,
already
that's
March
great.
20.
Dude,
Like, I'm not
if you
even
saw
making an offer.
if you saw that at Frankensons, that thing right there, that'd be freaking $60 at Frankensons.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Gonna haggle like a barnyard turkey. Gobble gobble gobble. Gobble, gobble. Oh, Steph's trying to hook you up, Eric. She's got
Nice.
a clown with a comic book. His head turns into Violator.
Oh, I remember that one.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I used to have that one. I used to have that. Oh God, did I have all the freaking Spawn and McFarlane shit? Oh my God, don't take me back to those days.
But I will say that, and it's funny because I think the reason why like a lot of this stuff is a little bit cheaper over here is that I think people at this point now, they think like McFarlane stuff's like passe, like whatever, you know, but McFarlane did some cool ass shit, you know.
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
dude.
Like if you look back at it, I think he did some really cool ass shit.
Yeah, I spent many years in that freaking line, man. My wallet was all in that man's pocket for so many years. It's ridiculous.
Did you ever do the what was that line called? They were like really the Tortured Souls. I don't know if I ever asked you that.
Yep. I pretty much had all of them. Yeah, I did all those damn lines, dude. Freaking, like I said, anything that McFarlane had his name on back then, dude, it was like, take my money. I was in 100%. It was only until he started doing the sports figures that I finally got out of McFarlane. As soon as he started doing the sports action figures, I was out because I wasn't a sports fan at all.
I have McFarlane sports figures too.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if you're a sports guy, yeah, the sports figures were awesome too. And I'm not gonna take away from them. They were awesome looking figures. He did, and then of course he was doing baseball, football, hockey. You know what I mean? Like really, really cool figures. But sports wasn't my thing. And so as soon as he got into that, that was like my exit.
I wish I was collecting back then though, because the other stuff like the horror, like the stuff like this sea creature, like, because it's a whole world, like it's a whole collection by itself. Like you've got a monster, you've got the sea diver, you've got diorama pieces, like it's a whole thing.
They were doing some just incredible stuff back then, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, compared to anything else that was out there in the toy world at the time, there was nothing that compared to it. Really nothing.
Man.
So good.
Oh, speaking of Steph, I did order another Glyos figure too.
Nice.
Oh, actually, I can go get him because I get an email saying that he actually got delivered, so he's probably in my mailbox.
Nice.
That Victoria had the mailbox key with her, but now that she's home, I can go grab it. I got the Warlords of War, the neon green guy that they sold.
Nice.
But what I don't know is I'm a sucker for the pop culture stuff that they do sometimes with them. So Warlords of War did like a Nerds like branded like Glyos figure. So I got that one. This one, there was it was the like the Toy Pizza Expo or whatever exclusive where they did like an ecto cooler pack where it looked like the juice juice box juice pack bag, like the Capri Sun bag. Now I think I didn't find out about this, like they sold the leftovers from the show online. I didn't see it till I think like the next day or something like that. So I bought the figure, but I think the actual packs were sold out. But yeah, ecto cooler. But the guy who everyone will probably know except me, his name, said that he was thinking about maybe trying to print up some more of the bags. And so we'll see. If it's sitting in my mailbox, there may or may not be an ecto cooler pack in there. Yeah, with Slimer on the front. Fingers crossed.
Hey, something I wanted to mention on the community front. Wanted to give a big shout out to Curtis Ackerman on his paintbrush set he came up with, dude. Man.
Yeah,
that's
huge.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. That is very, very cool, man. Way to go, way to go, Curtis, man. He's just freaking. He like I said, he's just diving in so hard, man, and just doing so many cool things, you know, with his YouTube channel, with his reviews, with his exploded things, his customizing studio that he hosts. I mean, like I said, that's big ups, man. Big ups to that. That's really cool.
What a cool idea. Like I never saw it coming, didn't hear about it beforehand, nothing. Yeah. But a whole, like, especially for people that like don't like, that's a question that comes up all the time. What kind of brushes should I buy? What kind of brush? You know? And here for anybody that's like, there's a lot of people that start customizing after they start collecting Mythic Legions. They don't know any of this stuff. And they're like, well, here's a pack of brushes it's been curated by a customizer in the community. Here you go. Here's your whole set to start off with.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't speak intelligently. You know, I've painted a few things here and there and I have enjoyed it, but I bought my brushes probably from Michael's or Walmart. But I'm definitely buying probably one or probably, you know, maybe a couple of boxes just to have them.
Yeah.
But it's a whole set, $20.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, looking at the set, that's a great value, dude. That's a great value for what he's putting in that box, man. Super, super dope, dude.
10 brushes.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's a steal, dude. That's a steal.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. What a great idea, man. Yeah. So, like I said, big ups to Curtis, man. Great job, dude. Yeah, I'm definitely picking up a few of these, dude. Definitely.
Great idea.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody make sure you grab at least one box, if not more than that. It's one of those things where, like, you know what? I never even thought of it. That's a great idea that somebody thought to do this.
Yeah. And through the years that we've all been customizing together, I mean, we've all picked each other's brains, like, hey, what size brush do you use for this, or what do you use for that, or where do you get your dry brushes from? And I mean, we've all been through the gambit of like buying the real expensive brushes or finding the, you know, to the point where you find somebody that, hey man, I use these little makeup brushes from Target, you know what I mean, that are like $2 a piece. Like, holy shit, like game changer, you know what I mean? It's like throughout the years, like finding stuff like that and finding the brushes that actually work for you. I mean, from multiple sources to finally get something that you can get in one pack, like all together, like golden, dude. Just pure gold, dude. It's so awesome. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, Curtis is definitely like taken, like with his whole channel and everything. It's very much like a very, very specific thing that he's serving. You know, it's what he does, what he's interested in.
Yeah.
And if it's somebody that wants to learn how to do stuff and wants to learn about it, you can just go to his channel. And
yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah,
say hi,
it's-
Dingley. Can you
And
hear us
especially
purring?
with the like the videos like that you did with him, Eric, like the how did they do that?
yeah,
Those are
yeah.
perfect if you
Absolutely.
guys want to learn new techniques and stuff like
Yep.
that.
Yep. Yeah. It's so cool, man. Like I said, the stuff that he's doing has been phenomenal, man. Like I said, I can't commend him enough on what a great job he's doing. So awesome.
Oh shit! Yeah. So we're talking about people doing great stuff. Let me try to get what?
The cat purring
You hear
like right
purring.
into the
You
microphone.
can hear it?
Oh, totally, dude.
Yeah, I guess he must have just woke up. I guess when Victoria and Grayson got home, must have woke him up. He came down to get some love.
Real happy.
Yeah. Here, check. Here. Boom. Did you see this?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Nate Armstrong's Chitara.
Yeah.
Fucking
Tell me he
awesome.
didn't
bro.
kill this shit, dude.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
awesome.
dude, I love seeing the shit that he does.
Yeah, so good, bro.
But what's so
So
crazy
good.
is like for Nate Armstrong, you think like outer space, like where'd you come up with this idea? That's the kind of stuff that like he's probably most known for, is that like I can't believe he thought to take that and make an upside down horse alien or something
Yeah,
like that. Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then look at this. Like, this is one of the best tribute figures I think I've ever seen. I gotta be honest with you, it's probably one of the best toy Chitaras I've ever seen, period.
Looks
I think it
great,
looks
man.
great. Perfect.
Perfect. Great job, dude.
Super cool.
Yeah. I love seeing something that's, like I said, you don't even see a Mythic Legions. That's what's cool about it.
Yeah.
Like it's so out of the box and so different from anything that, like, it looks nothing like a Mythic Legion at all. You would never even know what toy line that came from when you see that. That's what makes it so good.
Yeah.
When you could change it up
I
that
just
much,
I just realized that those are I don't know how to pronounce her name. Mbira limbs.
Mhm.
And that they're not-
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
They're not
Yeah.
painted. They're just
That's-
her. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder if she still smells funny. All right. Well, before we shut her down here, any thoughts on this stuff? So this is Einsamal, the horror of Einsamal, the new wave release, whatever it's going to be, which I guess will be announced on Wednesday night. Hold on a second.
I'll be off that night, so it'll be cool to watch the live stream.
Yep, Wednesday, 8 p.m. They're gonna release it, talk about it. We'll see what it is. The biggest thing people have been talking about is this sort of like horror-ish tone that it's taken. I mean, it's called the horror of Einsamal. You got blood, actual blood in the advertisement.
Yeah, is this I was gonna say, is this like this is like the first time they've gone like kind of gore with it, right? I've never
Yeah,
seen
I think
any.
so.
Yeah, I mean, I know the.
Is there any
the
with
studio-
Krampus? Maybe
No, there wasn't any
No
blood
blood?
or anything. No.
Mm.
I mean, this is
You had
they've
death,
kind,
I guess.
they've kind of held strong on staying away from like the gore kind of stuff, like the
Yeah.
blood and guts, or like let's say the blood on the shields or on the swords and stuff like that. But yeah, seeing this, it's like, okay, we might be turning a new corner here. Like, where are we going with this? This is gonna be pretty cool looking. I mean, whatever it's gonna be. I mean, you're going full blown on this one.
Yeah, well, Mask of the Red Death came with a pool of blood, but I guess that's a little bit different because that's the character, right?
Yeah,
Mask
yeah,
of the
yeah.
Red
It's
Death
more
type
like
deal.
from the But yeah, hey man, I can't wait. See what they bring, man.
Numerous townsfolk have been slaughtered in the write-up here by some unseen monster, only to turn up in pieces days later, their bodies torn apart and cast across the frozen landscape. So okay, they're not fucking around right here.
They're definitely not fucking around. Yeah.
This is so blood in the little the thumbnail, the image here. And this is the story they're telling for whatever wave or whatever this is going to be. Townsfolk have been slaughtered, taken in the night by an unseen monster, only to turn up later, their bodies torn apart.
Yeah.
And then it talks about the area's greatest hunters have so far been unable to find what is attacking the small settlement. The Castle of Four Sides assembles a small party of heroic adventurers and sends them to Einsamal to investigate. So, and what awaits them is a nightmare unlike anything they have ever experienced. And one which will open a monstrous new chapter for the realm of mythos. All right. So
Trevor said that Nate Barch put his actual blood in this image.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So wait, so I mean, so like literally, like he like took a picture of some of his own blood and melded it into the image.
Awesome.
He said like the Kiss comic.
So is that the story of the Kiss comic that they put blood in it? I think
Yeah,
that's what it means,
they
right?
put blood in the ink.
Unless he's just talking. Hey, he's just joking. Kiss Comics, blood. Oh yeah. Kiss used band members' blood in Marvel comic. Okay. But
yeah, this is gonna be fun, man. This is definitely gonna be fun.
So what do you think? It sounds like there's at least going to be the adventure party, right?
Mhm.
So the hunters that were sent over by the castle, and presumably the monster, maybe some minions.
Mm.
So any
Mhm.
thoughts on what we might be talking about here?
I'm hoping to see looking. I mean, the monster. It could be anything. I'm leaving my imagination to its wildest dreams to see what they come up with. But the adventure party. Thinking about the adventure party, I'm hoping that we see more characters like adorned with like winter or tundra style like soft
Mhm.
goods. Like I want to see that kind of stuff. I think that'll be really cool. So hoping, some of the new tooling or the new soft goods from the C. Jessom team, they bring out some really cool looking like soft goods to come with these figures. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, that would be sick, dude. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, because they're like in an ice tundra type, so they're not just going to be, you're not going to have bare chested barbarians out there. You know what I mean? It's like that doesn't make any sense. You have to have people that are suited up for that type of environment. So I could only imagine, like I said, and it makes me think of I remember I bought Jeremy's custom. He had that custom kit of like that snow dwarf with the snowshoes and the ice pick and the and like that whole like setup. Like it's like the only time I've ever seen like a ice tundra style version of like a mythic character. You know what I mean? So it'll be kind of cool to have, instead of like your normal like your armor or your pauldrons and stuff that you would have on a normal figure. I mean, this should be definitely more that style. So those are my hopes of what we're going to see in this wave.
Yeah, Joseph says maybe use the bear parts for a big monster.
You never know, man. You never know.
I mean, maybe we might have gotten to tease a little bit of what some of it might look like. Was it I guess maybe Rising Suns and add like Nieve in Rising Suns. Isn't she like from like the tundra area?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
in Agmendor you got like the ice ogre or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm,
That guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I love like frozen tundra as like an environment or a setting for characters. Anyway, I have right in the middle on the top of my shelf there. I have my little tundra set up with the ice troll in the middle. I have a couple of like ice characters around, and of course, my frost goblin set as part of it too.
Yeah. I think that, whatever this is, I think those will work well with that. I'm sure, you know what I mean? I think that'll be cool.
What do you think, Rhino? Any other thoughts? What do you want to see? What are you hoping for?
my initial what I wanted was like
No,
kind of like
no.
frost elves that were kind of like rabid cannibals, and they would bring these people up and eat them. But
Oh shit. So not like
Um,
Thalen.
no, like way more darker, gory, kind of ravenous elves. But I'm hoping for like a werewolf type character, maybe some type of beast like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe use the what's the hyena character from the Beast Wave? The laugher, the laughing, the cackler, whatever it is.
cackler, yeah.
Yeah. Something like use that body for something. Yeah, like for the like presumably there's a monster. So then you're like, all right, is it a troll, ogre, the wolf body, something else?
Or something completely different.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that'd be sick.
Yeah. Like I said, you
I
just
know,
never
I'm
know, man.
completely wrong.
Yeah. I just hope I'm right about the aesthetic as far as like
Yeah.
what the characters are wearing, what type of, like I said. And this is cool too, because now we're stepping way out of the bounds of the known mythos that we have in the lore so far. Now we're like way out of bounds, like we're in an area that we're not familiar with. So like I said, the looks of the characters, the the clothing that they wear, how they're represented in this storyline, like it, I could only imagine it should be completely different than what we're normally used to.
So
Go ahead, man.
I was just gonna, for like the adventure party, do you think it'll be like a typical adventure party where you have like the tank, the magic user, more of like the leader character? Do you think it'll be that?
I think it'll stick to more, to like your, the rogue, the
The rogue.
barbarian, like you said, the maybe maybe a couple different like dwarf characters, maybe like you said, a magic user or of some type, you know what I mean? Could be, like I said.
Yeah, definitely.
Be cool.
Like,
I almost think like a drow, even, you know what I mean, or like a dark elf, you know what I mean, like, that, I mean, that's kind of like where that whole genre of characters comes from, is from this type of like dark, cold environment, you know what I mean? Yeah, I can't wait, man. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
a small party of heroic adventurers. Yeah, something like 3 or 4 distinct characters.
Yeah, you have to have your muscle. You have to have your guy who's the leader of the pack. You have to have,
some kind of magic probably user.
Some kind of, an antagonist of some type. The dwarf usually.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The dwarf.
The dwarf. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I'm up for more dwarves.
Yeah, I'm definitely a dwarf. I think would is a really good bet. The thing that is really kind of like pricked up my ears is the part where it says what awaits them is a nightmare unlike anything they have ever experienced. So first part there, does that mean, to your point, maybe it's like a body or parts or design, something that we haven't seen at all?
Yeah.
And one which will open a monstrous new chapter for the realm of mythos, so that it makes it sound like this isn't just like a side quest of stuff they're releasing, that this is going to be the entryway to something bigger, and that there could be, maybe we're going to explore a bunch of like monsters on the periphery of mythos, type of thing.
Maybe
and
they
like
were
I said,
wait for the Dark Four.
Yeah, and this is just one corner of this new open landscape of what mythos is going to be, and it's just like I mean, it was so mind blowing at Legion's Con when Jeremy put up the small map of mythos that we've known, and then he went to the next picture and exploded that whole world. It was like, oh man, that's insane. That's insane to imagine, like, if there's different, like I said, countries or worlds that inside of mythos that we have not even tapped into. It's I can't even imagine, like I said, what they're going to come up with in the future.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy is thinking of that. I sort of assumed that, at the end of the year, the G-Con wave, whatever that's going to be, that'll be our first foray outside of Mythos.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, what's the most logical way to do that? You have to go across the oceans. So maybe like a seafaring wave where you have like sea warriors or seafarers.
Yeah.
And then like maybe like mer people or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is just still exploring like the outskirts of the known Mythos world, area. So we still have more to get to here before we even get outside and across the oceans. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah. All right, man. Pretty cool. So that's Wednesday. Wednesday, 8:00. Right? Did I say that again? 8:00. Yeah. Wednesday, July 2nd, 8:00. They'll reveal the latest Mythic Legions wave and discover the horror of Einsamal. I'm excited about this. I'm pumped about this.
Absolutely.
And this is the first like wave, right? Because we had the dragon in the spring. This is the first like wave since the G-Con wave, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're almost in July.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, which I think makes sense. And it was nice of them to take it kind of easy on us. So they've been, no new waves for more than half a year, basically, because of the dragon, so that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see what it is.
Yeah. Hey, how many of the infinites did you guys end up picking up?
I didn't end up ordering any, actually.
No?
No, and I do like the purple one, but I was just like, it's just with I partially forgot about it. I mean, I knew about it that day, but then when it hit, I hadn't ordered it as of Sunday night, and I got tied up with family stuff. But even then, I was like, I don't need like the price break is really great on it. It's $5 a figure. That's nothing to sneeze at. But I was like, I can order it later. Just even like an extra $80 or $90 right now. We'll see. I'm still gonna get at least the purple one. I like it, but as of right now, I haven't ordered it.
Right on. What about you, Ryan?
I'm in the same boat as Jonathan. Dude, it completely slipped my mind.
That's cool. Like I said, it's not like you get just like anything now, dude. It's not. I mean, even if you miss on the pre-order, you could totally pick them up later.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know if that might have been it for the pins, maybe. So I'm not sure about that part.
The pins are always that's always something with the pins. How crazy that's become in the last few years, man. How collectible those damn things have become now. It's crazy.
And I thought they looked really cool.
Yeah. They're really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm super happy with my shadow box that I built with all my pins that I have in it now. Looks really great on the wall. Yeah, I ended up getting 2 of the 2-packs, so I got 4 figures total, and then one set of the pins. So
I think they're cool as shit. I think they're especially for customizers. There's some really good bodies.
Yeah.
Definitely. I
Definitely.
love the purple color scheme. Especially, I love the Krang brain head that comes with it. I think that looks really cool. So yeah, haven't grabbed them yet, but I will. At least the purple one. The blue one's cool too, but I don't know that I need the blue one.
Yeah.
Kirby says in Guild Wars 2, when the dragons were defeated, their powers dispersed and merged with the other dragon minions. Maybe along those lines, what is coming blurs the lines between the old factions. That's why he says vampire dwarves, demon warriors, shadow goblins. Shadow goblins sounds cool as shit.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
So.
Hell yeah. Can't wait, man. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. All right, boys, you got anything else?
That's it, man.
No.
Good.
Yeah. All right. I guess that's hitting the 2-hour mark here. Got to go see what's going on with my family, see how the end of the whole dance week went. I've been told already that they found the phone, so that's good. And I'll be interested to hear where Victoria found a teleportation device. So that was pretty cool.
Exactly.
At the beginning of this stream, that's when I was messing around. They were still in New York City at Lincoln Center at that moment, and now they're here. So that's hilarious. But yeah, just wanted to say it's been cool hanging out, man. I missed chatting with you guys online. So hopefully Hopefully we don't miss too many more weeks, but stuff kind of gets in the way sometimes. It is what it is. But thanks again, everybody who stopped in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys coming to hang out and just chill and see what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll see everybody in the chat certainly on Wednesday.
Oh, absolutely.
To see what's going on there. And unless you guys got anything else, the question I'm going to ask. Until next time. It's not a question, is it? Until next time, don't forget the number one rule. Here's the question, which is
be cool.
Later.
So I'll see you guys in November.